Welcome to the Multicultural Design Museum. We'll be taking a look at a specific exhibit that is part of a larger exhibition, Through the Keyhole, a virtual glimpse into non-Western inspired interiors. Within this exhibition of non-Western inspired interiors, we'll be focusing on the Chinese reception hall and its importance in 17th century China and today.
The purpose of the exhibit is to tell a story, and then also allow the user to develop a personal connection. By creating a hands-on environment, we encourage visitors to interact and better understand the different components within a historical Chinese reception hall. This space blends a traditional exhibit with interactive technology that allows viewers of any demographic and culture to enjoy and understand the meaning and history behind such an important space.
Hello,
Hey,
this exhibit looks really interesting. What is it?
it looks like a Chinese reception hall. Should we take a look?
Definitely.
Did you notice these doors?
Yes, these doors were used on the entirety of one side of the reception hall. They were often opened up to let natural light into the space. Wow, the entire Chinese reception hall is right here before our eyes. Take a look at the ceiling. The gabled roof allows for a lofty atmosphere here.
It is pretty amazing. Look at all the detail within the wood ceiling beams. They are elaborately carved and painted to display status and grandeur.
Great. Let's go take a look at the historical display.
It says here that large rooms, ornate ceiling carvings, and diagonal floor tiles were aspects that by law only the wealthy could pertain to their designs. We can see that this family must have been wealthy by these characteristics seen in this exhibit.
Interesting. You can see that they used a lot of fine materials within the space, such as exotic woods, smooth stone, and luxurious silk. Imports from the Silk Road and other large trade routes were ways in which the Chinese culture obtained many of their exotic materials. The silk was used for various things including wall tapestries and decorative furniture coverings.
The tapestries hung in this reception hall could vary in content and meaning. The tapestry hung in this exhibit features swans, which represent Yang in Chinese mythology. The swan is regarded as a bird of life by many cultures, including the Chinese. Other tapestries that might be seen within the space are dedicated to ancestors. The ancestral tapestries for worship are an integral part of the Chinese culture.
You're right. Ancestral worship is a huge part of the Chinese culture. The tapestries would have featured images of ancestors for ceremonial prayer within the reception hall. Around the ancestor portraits, there were banners of Chinese symbols that framed the altar. Although this exhibit is not currently configured for ancestral worship, the furniture is light and mobile for easy reconfiguration.
Although the furniture is portable, it is unlike any of the other furnishings in the Chinese home. The reception hall is where they showed off their finest possessions.
You can tell that they are their finest possessions by the ornate detail within each piece. It also says here that the furnishings, as well as the orientation of the room, depict hierarchy within the space. This room was clearly used and valued of great importance as shown by how the furniture is designed and laid out. There's a clear hierarchical status seen with the screen and bench located in the center of the room, with different seating surrounding.
Yes, the bench directly in the center is where the important members of the family would sit, and the screen behind the person provides a visual that directs your eye there. The folding screen has many different purposes within the Chinese culture and is one of their more popular furniture pieces. It is not only used for privacy, but it was also considered a great piece of art, among other things. This is why you see such detail and design patterns carved into their screen.
It does a great job of drawing your eye to the center of the space. The seating around the bench is also of great significance to the Chinese culture. Although not as prestigious as the bench, these seats were reserved for only the most important visitors of the family. This chair is known as the horseshoe chair. These chairs are typically made out of bamboo because of the value of the material and in the way in which you could bend it to make its regal design. Known as the most prestigious chair, it is used to seat the higher-ranking people or is used as the ceremonial seat.
It says here that the concept of using armchairs creates a higher status of who might be using this room versus using armless chairs or multiple stools. It says it makes sense then that the horseshoe chair is seen directly in the middle of the room versus the other chairs and stools which line the wall of the room. The less important guests would then occupy the seating against the outside of the room.
It is also common practice to drape richly embroidered cushions and pillows to make the furniture more comfortable and to give the room a luxurious ambiance. This is seen on the chair against the wall to the right. This is just another way that they are able to display some of their wealthy possessions while also making them functional.
It is interesting that something as simple as seating and where it is placed within a room can depict your hierarchical status. I wonder what those two cabinets in the back contain.
Those cabinets would often contain rare ceramics and bronzes that were also of high value. Many times, these items would have been passed down from generation to generation. These cabinets were also used to store tapestries and cushions that would have been changed out for different occasions.
It makes sense to keep them within the reception hall because of their great importance. Also, if they were passed down through generations, they may play a significant role during ancestral worship.
Notice also the use of lighting within the space. It is very minimal with only 2 lanterns on either side of the bench that's located in the center. The Chinese culture is very in tune with nature. Therefore, the use of natural lighting was most prominently used. When they needed to use the lanterns, they preferred the reception hall to have a very comfortable, dim-lit atmosphere.
It is amazing how much one room can really tell you about the Chinese culture. Everything has a meaning and a purpose to it.
I agree. It makes you wonder if other cultures also put this much thought into how each space is designed and arranged.
Shall we continue on?
Yes. How about we take a look at this glass display?
Wow, look at all these artifacts. They are so richly detailed.
It's nice that we're able to see some of these objects up close. It's hard to see all this detail when you're looking at them from a distance.
Not to mention, it would be easy to miss some of these tiny aspects among the grand design and furnishings of the entire Chinese reception hall.
These must be some of the pieces that were kept in the cabinets within the reception hall. Look at this vase. It says that this porcelain vase has been passed down through many centuries within the Wang family. Porcelain was one of the Chinese most favorite commodities and is also widely desired internationally.
The detail within the landscape on that vase is amazing. These scrolls are also very impressive. They date back to the 17th century. There are also great examples of some of the calligraphy used within the Chinese culture. They would have hung these scrolls in calligraphy between the massive pillars throughout the room.
This bronze sculpted bird is very fascinating. It says here that the use of bronze is one of the oldest forms of art within the Chinese culture. These pieces were often used for both ancestral and ceremonial purposes in offering food and wine.
Look at all the fine detail within this sculpture. It looks as if it has some kind of inscription on it.
Yes, these artifacts often had names of ancestors inscribed in them and were frequently buried in tombs or other burial chambers. Depending on the artifact, these bronze pieces were designed in different shapes of animals or weaponry. The blue-green surface color comes from centuries of burial.
Very interesting. It is fascinating how much time and effort is put into the detail and meaning of even the smallest things.
I agree. Shall we continue on to see the rest of the exhibit?
Sounds good.
These cabinets look very similar to those that were in the historical display. It says here that these are replicas of the authentic cabinets, and that we're allowed to take a look inside.
Take a look at all these replicated artifacts. Here are some of the elaborate cushions and pillows they used to lay over the wooden chairs. The embroidery detail is fantastic.
The other cabinet has rare ceramics and bronze pieces that we saw earlier. It is explained here that these pieces would have been very sacred to a family and were often passed down from generation to generation.
I like that we are able to open up the displays to actually feel the replicated pieces and see them up close. I feel like I have a more involved understanding of these objects. Josh, look at that. There's an image of a reception hall being projected on the back wall. The arrangement of the space is configured to suit the needs of ancestral worship.
You're right. You can determine that it's ready for worship because of the central focus on the ancestral tapestry. An altar with relics has been placed immediately below the tapestry, and chairs have been left off to the sides.
Now we can see that the other tapestries would have looked like. There's a variety of examples showing how the ancestors were portrayed. This image shows a graceful woman with beautiful colored robes and a powerful looking man. Here's another version of the worship arrangement. It is very similar, but the tapestries have been changed up for different ancestors. These ancestral pictures are fierce-looking warriors.
According to this display description, there is a cycle of different receptional images, artifact images, and short videos of how the space might have been used in the 17th century.
It was interesting to see examples of some of the authentic colored robes that would have been worn in the 17th century within that video.
Yes, it's another great tool for getting the most out of this exhibit. Take a look at these touchscreen displays. It has the entire exhibit on it. If I click on an area, it brings up some more information, pictures, and even some short videos. I could learn anything about this exhibit just from this device.
I found a link to a bunch of activities. I can test my knowledge or play simple matching and search games. These are great interactive features for people of any age.
I think I've finished looking over these displays for now. Let's go take a look at the last part of the exhibit.
How neat! This display has each of the seating options that we saw in the large display earlier. These replicas can be sat on to give us the full hierarchical experience. I'm going to try out this stool. These are not the most comfortable seats.
True, they are fairly hard, but that's why they use cushions and pillows to make the stools and chairs a little more comfortable. Take a look behind you as well. We are close to a large folding screen now and have the opportunity to observe it closely. The wood portions are so painstakingly detailed. It must have taken a lot of time to intricately carve out all of those details.
The screen portion is very fine as well. This screen features a residential landscape, but it says here that the screen could have had many different scenes applied to it. The sign says that some might have nautical themes with ships and waves. Others might have a gathering of people around a single home. There are even scenes that exclusively feature animals or nature.
Wow. This exhibit has helped me better understand the complex layers of Chinese design.
I couldn't agree more. This exhibit had many different aspects that helped reiterate the core elements of hierarchy and dignified design.
Let's continue on to the next multicultural exhibit.
We hope that you have enjoyed your visit to the Multicultural Design Museum's Chinese Reception Hall. The large fixed exhibit, the observation case, the hands-on display, and the touchscreen technology were all specifically incorporated to stimulate the observer in a variety of ways. It is our intention that each individual that comes through the space will take something away that they learned and enjoyed from our space.
Thank you.